It gets the strips to 180 degrees. The moist heat softens the fibers in the wood so they'll more easily flex. Then, while the fibers are still soft and hot, the strips are wrapped around a wheel and pressed with 80 pounds of pressure to make the rings.
Volume.
It takes 3 rings like this just for the outer rim of a single pot, because just one strip of wood that's thick enough for the pot couldn't be bent into a circle without snapping it. Once the wood is bent, it sits on the wheel for 2 hours to cool and settle into its new shape. Then, 3 rings are laminated together, one inside the other, to make the outer rim for the pot. The rings are coated in high-tack wood glue, and then stacked and loaded into a glue press that squeezes the rings together with metal cables and a car jack that applies 12 tons of pressure. It's important the press squishes out even the tiniest air bubbles in the glue, because bubbles can vibrate when the banjo is played and make a buzzing sound. When the glue is dry, the rim is placed in a lathe that uses a chisel-like blade to smooth out the wood and fix any warping that was caused by the steamer. Because any bumps or wiggle in the wood could change the vibrations and ruin the sound. In another part of the factory, the metal parts of the banjo are machined. A computerized drill press drills holes in the metal flange that sits in the banjo between the resonator and the pot. While the press works, a worker bends a strip of brass into a coil and welds the ends together to make a brass ring. That's the tension loop that will lock the plastic head of the banjo to the front of the pot. When the metal parts are finished, a computer-controlled router carves out the neck. For this banjo, they're using a 27-inch block of tight-grained mahogany wood that gets shaped into the neck by a computer-controlled router. The neck is decorated with an ebony fingerboard and acrylic inlays that help guide the player's fingers. And finally, the frets, which are made of a strong silver alloy, are pressed into the neck. They support the strings and tell the player where to press on them to make different notes. When all the parts are ready, the banjo is put together by hand. The plastic head or face of the banjo sits on top of a metal tone ring, which sits on top of the pot. And the brass tension ring locks the head into place to complete the pot. The pot slips into the metal flange, and a crazy mix of rods, brackets, and bolts holds the flange in place. When the flange is secure, the neck is bolted to the pot and supported with a metal rod. Only then can the strings go on. They're made of copper because it vibrates more than most metals. But the banjo isn't really ready to play until the resonator goes on back and is held in place with still more bolts. Then the banjo can finally make its unmistakable twang.
Daring.
That's a vibrating chorus of wood, metal, plastic, and bolts.